This part is where you're going to define the exterior of your building. You're going to specify where your envelope is and what it looks like. HVAKR does not make this assumption for you. It allows for some flexibility. Say, if I did not draw this space meticulously, totally flush with the other spaces, if I had something like this, well, there's a gap there. So when I get to walls and windows, I get to actually define which of these lines represent my exterior so that I'm not accidentally including these lines here that are actually interior. Allows me to be a little looser with how I draw this. It doesn't have to be smack dab perfect flush to a T. And it also helps with things like wet walls here. You know, there's a gap there in my spaces, but it's not an exterior or anything like that. So with that said, put this back. The first thing I'm going to do here with walls and windows is define all my walls. So this is a pretty easy process, especially because I only have one wall type that I'm going off of. If I look at my plans again, you would notice that as part of this kind of wall type compliance thing, they only give me one wall type. So I'm going to presume that this is all one wall type. Now, if you think this is going to change in the future, you may want to add other wall types and place those wall types where you think it will be different, so that you can easily update your U values based on those wall types later when more information comes out. I'm going to stick with the one wall type that was listed for this project. So to define that, I create a wall here. I'm going to select the wall type, which was my wood framed wall type, and I'm going to hit enter. Now I simply just select all the lines that represent my exterior wall, and I'm going to go around the building and do this for all my levels. So I'll go ahead and fast forward for this as well. You'll see. Okay, so I've now defined the exterior of my building by placing an exterior wall on all the line segments that represent the envelope. And what this does is, because we have the length of the line segment here and we have the slab to slab height for that space, we're able to determine the entire area of this exterior wall. And what you're seeing as I hover over the wall, that's actually the height of the wall. It's as if the wall was laid down flat on the ground. And so you get that kind of 3D visual feedback by going through, hovering over these walls, and that's one way to confirm that you've defined the exterior exposure for each of these spaces properly. You get that visual feedback on that. And then what's going to happen next is when I go to place my windows, I'm going to be placing those windows on this wall, just like they're shown here. And I'll be able to see the windows when I hover over the wall as well. So with that said, let's move on to windows. There's a couple ways to do this. So we're going to need the dimensions of these windows, and we'll also want to take a look at any overhangs, top overhangs or side overhangs. So one way is these windows are all scheduled. This is window type A. So you could go to the drawings and you could find that window schedule somewhere in the drawings. Let's see if I can find that. That's good to know. Thin view. There's a 2 gap. Fin comes out about 8 inches. 8-inch fin, okay. So that's important to see. 8-inch. That's going to be the side overhang. Window schedule though, where the heck? Hey, okay. Found it. Here's the window schedule. So window type A is 2 foot by 9 foot, 6 3/4. Great. And there's a bunch of those. So I'm going to be using this mostly with that fin detail. And then you got B, C, D, E. So this is actually really nice to have. I'm going to take a snapshot of that so I can reference that very quickly and just have this open on the side of my screen when I need it. So I can go off of that. That'll be nice. Let's confirm that you can actually see those, yep, in the floor plans. So very helpful. This is great in regards to that. It looks like all these windows are identical, so that'll make our life much, much easier. The other way you could determine the window dimensions is one, in your PDF editor, if there is a measuring tool, you could go to your elevation views, and you could make sure you have the right scale here set. And let's do that. And you can measure the windows. So I could go, hey, looks like the inside portion is what they're going off of. I can measure windows like that. What I like to do, and another reason I put the elevation drawings in HVAKR, is you can also use HVAKR to measure your windows. So I can go here, and I can actually go to spaces, create a space, and I can measure a window this way. So I can say, hey, there's that dimension there, and there's that dimension there, which is one way to get readings on your window. Okay, 1.5 feet by 9 feet. But even then, it looks like with the window schedule, they're accounting for a full 2 feet. They're including the whole assembly. So it's a good way to verify the correct dimensions. Since I have this, I'm going to use this. And as I saw from the drawings, these window types A are also going to have that 8-inch side fin with them. So let's go back to walls and windows and start incorporating these. This process is going to be very similar to adding our walls, except now I go through and I place windows on top of the walls, like so. First, I create the window, and this is when you would reference what type of window you're going to be placing. Like I said, mine is 2 feet wide by 9 feet. Let's call it 7 inches. 9 feet, 7 inches tall. So 2 feet wide, 9 feet, 7 inches tall. This is that fixed window that I set, and there's some external shading. So particularly the side overhang. Now the side overhang depth, that is at 8 inches we saw in the detail, and the offset is 0 inches. It is right up against that window. So this window is going to be set with these dimensions, this window type, and this side overhang included. So now I hit enter, and I simply hover over my wall, and I place that window where it belongs. And what's nice is you can still see the window placement here behind this lightly shaded wall. So I'll go through and I'll place all my windows for type A, and we'll fast forward this too so you can get to the end. Okay, that covers all of window type A on all floors. Now it looks like level 1 is all window type A for the most part, a couple exceptions. Level 2 and 3, you just got window A on the sides. So now I'm going to go back down and make sure my level 1 is fully defined here. Everything's good up until we get to these doorways. So I want to check to see if these are glazed doors. So it looks like door number 100, 100A. Another way I can look at this is my elevation drawings. So let's take a look at the south and the north there. So yes, this is actually a large glazed area. So I'm going to set this window as my entry door with glazing. And I'll actually take this full area. So I'm accounting for all the glazing on the sides and the doors. This is going to be a separate window type so that I can adjust the U value and solar heat gain coefficient separately from all these fixed windows. So again, I can check the schedule to see if those are included. Another way I can get a quick estimate, like I said, is by doing this. So I'm actually just going to take this off. This is my 22 feet wide by 9 feet 9. 22 wide, 9 foot 9 is the area of my glazing here. So I'm just going to treat this all like one big area, and then this was my south elevation. So I'll do that first. 22, 9 foot 9 on the south elevation right here. So going back to my walls and windows, let's add a 22 feet by 9 foot 9 window type entrance door, and I'll hit enter. So big glazed area right at the entrance. And I've placed this, but now I can select this window, double click on that, and I can see these. So this is placed. I haven't provided any shading. Let me check the plans again to see if there is shading in that area. Sometimes you can tell from the elevations, but a lot of times this is where kind of that 3D view helps. And since I saw that, I'd be happy to look at that. Front 3D view. Okay, so if this is the vestibule here, so I think this is that front entrance. There is a overhang. It looks like it's probably about a foot high, and then something like 6 feet out, 7 feet out. Oh, good. This is better. The canopy, where is the dimension? 8 feet out. Fantastic. That's the canopy. There we go. 8 feet 6. But kind of 8 feet from that entrance. Perfect. And then that's 8 feet. This is a couple feet up. So I'll include that shading for this entryway here. External shading. Top overhang depth is 8 feet, and the offset is about 2 feet. Okay, so that canopy is now included here with this window data. Let me check the north. So let's get another view of this. I think I saw more 3D views. So there's the south entrance with that canopy, which means that's front perspective. So where's the back? Rear perspective. Yeah, so here, instead of a canopy, there's a balcony above it, which will provide some shading. So I'm also going to include details about this balcony. That's also, it looks like a few feet up, probably more like 3 or 4 feet up. And then I can get the length of that balcony just from my plans here. So I'll go back here up to level 2, just show me that balcony. Oh, it's even dimensioned, 7 feet out. So that's going to act as an overhang, 7 feet out, and then about 3 feet offset from this glazing area. But first, I need to confirm the area of my glazing. So looking at right here, I'll do a similar thing where I can create a space to get the dimensions on this. So we're looking at 22 feet again and 9.9. Okay, same size. Let's go back, jump to my walls and windows. So this window, again, 22 wide, 9.9 high. There's going to be shading. The depth was 7 feet, offset about 3 feet. And this is going to be my entrance door type. So there we go. Place that here, and boom. So quick check. That looks like, okay, not quite. We do have a couple more doors on the east side, and it looks like we're covered on the west side and the rest of that. So last thing for level 1 will be to capture any glazing that might be right here. So let's check the east elevation view. Yes, okay. More glazed door. You could look up the door schedule 124 to see the dimensions there. It's probably not going to include this little spandrel glass above it. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did previously and make sure I'm covered with this. 510 by 9.9 seems to be the theme with the doors. So again, right here, let's add our window with 510 and 9.9. Let's just go 6 feet on this. This is my entrance door. There we go. Beautiful. And it looks like there's even some side fins here. Likely this is not going to make a huge difference to your loads, but we might as well include this 8-inch fin. Perfect. Okay, so there's that covered. That is level 1. So level 2, other than that, window type A, let's see what else we're dealing with here. Window type B, that's the next big one. So this fin looks a bit different. I'm actually going to reference the plans again to see what that detail looks like for that fin. Going here. So this is the 8-inch window type A fin that I was talking about, that first system. And then this is the next one, which is a 1 foot, 1.5 inch fin for window type B. And it looks like that. Cool. So I'll go ahead and make sure I capture that. And then as noted in the schedule, window B is 4 feet by 9 foot 7 inches. So let's get to that. Window type B. Create my window, 4 feet by 9.7. This is my fixed window, and the external shading includes a side overhang depth of 1 foot. I'm going to go 2 inches, just to round up there. About 1/2 inch is not going to break it. 4 foot 9.7. Just want to confirm that. 4 foot 9.7. Fantastic. So let's place all of our window type B. Okay, now we got window type B included everywhere it's found on the plans. So I'll go back to level 2 and find the next one. So starting here, now window type C is going to be our next one. The fin is the same. So to remind ourselves, I can click on this. It's a 1 foot 2 inch side overhang depth. This window dimension, however, is going to be 8 feet by 9.7. So it sounds like just 2 window type Bs. Let's get that in here. 8 feet by 9.7, fixed window, same external shading. Let's go. Okay, window type C is complete, and from the schedule it looks like we just got D and E that are left. So let's get those two taken care of. Window type D's got the same fins there. This one is, you guessed it, 12 feet by 9.7. So let's do that. 12 feet by 9.7. Okay, that was window type D. I was actually counting as I was placing them, and it did add up to 9. So more confirmation. We're covered. Now window type E seems to be the last one. Let's see what that looks like. Do we have? Yes, we do. So here it looks like there's no fin. However, I did notice this interesting thing right in front of window type E, and it appears there and on the floor above. What is that? So that is the only location for window type E, is right in front on level 2 and level 3. And if you look at our elevation drawings, you'll see something interesting. Whoa, okay. So window type E has this like corrugated slots covering it. That's going to provide a lot of shading, but it's not exactly an overhang. It's going to be a little tricky to model. And the best way to model it will to be attribute an overhang to account for this shading factor. And the way the slots are set up, let's see if I can find that detail. Yeah, so it looks like we have these, let's find that detail again. A bunch of these little 4-inch wooden slats, which essentially means every part of this window that's in front of it, if I am indeed looking at the same thing, is going to be shaded. Unless the sun comes through way low, comes straight in. Essentially, the entire window is going to be shaded. So I'm going to account for enough overhang to cast a shadow on essentially this entire window. And to do that, I'm just going to give it an absurd overhang. I just want full shading to account for this kind of setup here. So the overhang is going to be 50 feet. It really doesn't matter. I just want to make sure 100% of this window area is shaded. So that'll be for window E. I'm going to include a ridiculous amount of top overhang to treat this as fully shaded. That's essentially what's going on here. So back to my windows. Let's find where we get window number E. Level 2. Window E is right here. And this is going to be 5 foot 2 inches by 9 foot 7 inches. So width is 5 feet 2 inches by 9 feet 7 inches. Fixed window, external shading. Forget the side overhangs. My top overhang is going to be 50 feet with no offset. So fully shaded. There's no sunlit area on these windows. Now let's place them. Okay, we are covered there on all the windows. Last thing I need to check is we've got some balconies here on level 3 and level 2, which I presume have glazed doors. Let's look at the elevation to see if that's the case. Indeed it is. So I'm going to add some glazed doors right here, right here. Those will be the same. Looks like the roughly the same area. And then we also have some balconies kind of off these offices with glazed doors that I want to be sure to account for. If you miss that, you'll have a lot more load in that corner office than you might have otherwise planned. So it looks like on this north elevation, that's where you got all these balconies with the glazed doors, which is good because on the south elevation, that could be a real doozy. So let's just start with these two. Again, let's get a rough area here. 18 foot 4 by 9 foot 9, and I'll do the same for both of those. So level 2, level 3. And note on level 2, you do have a balcony above it, so there will be an overhang with level 2. Not so much with level 3. So level 2. I totally forgot the number. Let's try that again. 18.4 and 9.9. Okay. Ha ha ha. Level 2, let's get that in there. Create window. 18.4 by 9.9. Another door. External shading on level 2. Top overhang. Previously it was 7 feet with a 3 foot offset for those balconies. And captured there. On level 3, we have same scenario except no shading on that one. However, this one is built in. So we do have a side overhang, 3 foot 6 on both of those. So I'll include that. 3 foot 6, no offset. Excellent. Just make sure it's captured properly. Make sure this is captured properly. Very nice. Okay, now all these little balconies, let's add some glazing for that. Going back to that elevation, I'm looking at these guys. I'm guessing this is like 6 feet by 9 feet. Let's go to spaces, add a space just to dimension this out. Okay, we're looking at 710 by, yeah, we'll go 9 feet. So all these little balconies we find, I'm going to do 710 by 9 feet. back to walls and windows. Level 2 is where they start. 7, 10 by 9 feet. Door, let's get it there. Here, very nice. Plenty of glazing on this project. So now what I like to do is I'll go through my project. Sometimes I'll even have the elevation drawings pulled up on the side. I have another monitor here that I'm not sharing. I could pull that up as I quickly hover over and confirm that I haven't missed any windows. Everything looks good. I'm capturing the glazing, the wall areas. Everything is included. What's beautiful about this is orientation is captured in HVAKR. When you place the windows, you assign your walls. We know this is south facing. Over here we know this is west facing. So really all that data is captured pretty seamlessly as you go through this process of defining your walls and windows. So this all looks good to me, which means the next step is going to be zoning.